Hi Chaitanya,
Hey Nandini, how are you?
welcome to my chill session. I'm good. How have you been?
I'm great, yeah. I'm looking forward to your chill session and thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure talking to
Yes.
people like you and just having a cool interactive session, learning some new things from you guys. That's it.
In the last conversation that I had with you, I was so intrigued and so excited that when are we going to be shooting this? Because this was too much fun to talk to you, and
Yeah.
I hope that people get to see that side of you in this
We'll try.
conversation.
We'll try. We'll try.
Yeah. So first off, before going deep into all the things on the brand and all of that, I would love to know one thing that what's changed for you post the show has aired personally. I mean, I'm sure the branding and
Yeah.
all of that is
Hmm.
there, businesses is scaling, वो सब
Hmm.
तो है ही. But personally for you, what has changed?
Personally, I think I've got way too much attention, yeah, which I'm not used to. So I am a reserved person when it comes to my personal private life. I like to keep it private, and I like to, I'm not the guy who will go on social media very often and put my pictures. I'm not used to that. But all of a sudden, there's so much attention that, I've also become the face of the brand, which I had never thought ki I'll be. I've always remained at the back end and try to push the brand for the products. And now we've discovered so many new things through which we can market the product. So personally, ये हुआ है, and obviously, family-wise, friends-wise, it's been crazy. I mean, most of the people, a lot of people have come to me, and they didn't not know this side of me, so didn't even know what I do. So
Oh,
I,
okay.
yeah, they knew that I have a business, I have a brand, I'm working on something,
हाँ
but
हाँ हाँ.
अब सबको पता है, so I don't
Hmm.
go on and explain a lot of things to a lot of people. So that has changed, and it's been good. Yeah, it's been good for me in that way.
Then too many eyeballs एकदम से ना.
Exactly, that is the biggest thing. मतलब, I'm not used to it.
Yes,
Trying.
and even in the episode you were like so chill. I mean,
Yeah.
there was no एक होता है ना कि थोड़ा सा एक performance pressure है या फिर I
Mm.
also think there's something to lose, nothing to lose wala attitude. I
Yeah.
kind of found in that pitch because
No, that's
uh,
definitely true.
the way you were answering them, the way they were asking you questions, obviously those questions were all relevant, but
Yeah.
then the way you were answering, and one that two things actually stuck in my mind, which we'll be talking about. So let's go dive deep into
Sure.
that. First one is you said कि मुझे यहाँ पे legacy बनानी है, and that is why because your father's name is also there, your grandfather's name is there in the logo, and you mentioned therein building a legacy brand is what uh, you said therein.
Yeah.
So what do you think that is the most important thing that goes into building a legacy, and in a business like this where in
Mm.
which your folks have been running it in a different form obviously for years, and now you're taking it forward.
Correct.
So how do you see this? What is that one thing that stands out for you? Okay, huh, if we do this, then probably we can go on and create this big.
I think the most foremost thing whenever we're building anything is the product at the end of the day, right? So I think before all the hustle, before everything came into picture, we have put all our focus, all our resources, all our efforts only on the product, right? And to create something different in already a space which has been there for so many generations, that how will you differentiate yourself, right? So firstly, finding that product market fit and finding your right audience and building that kind of product. So when there are so many things, when you think too much, you're not able to focus on the product. So that's
Yeah.
what we did here. We didn't take so much pressure कि आगे क्या होगा, कितने पैसे चाहिए होंगे, कहाँ कहाँ पे पैसा
Hmm.
लगेगा. We put everything in the product. So that's how we started, and taking it slow, taking it easy. So mostly क्या होता है आजकल, people just want to run. People just want to get things instantly. सब कुछ चाहिए और बहुत जल्दी चाहिए. पर उसके चक्कर में
Hmm.
they have to sacrifice on the backbone of the business, which ultimately आपका product है, right? The audience is your bank, right? Your buyers, your customers are your bank. So वो भूल जाते हैं कि ये फंडामेंटल है बिजनेस का, कि कस्टमर
Hmm.
बैंक बनाओ, ना कि go forward and think कि once we'll get money, then we'll start building it in the perfect way. Once you have a solid product, I think money will eventually come from a lot of
It
different
flows, yes.
areas. So that's what we focused on primarily. So yes.
And how's like your fathers and grandfathers, like your father's like opinion seeing you on the show. I mean, it's a big thing. I
Ah,
always ask this to the
yeah.
founders, and they're telling so many great stories of their family's reaction. So I would love to know what was your family's reaction when they
Uh,
saw you.
my father is not been an avid audience to Shark Tank. He's not never seen Shark
हाँ.
Tank that much. मतलब he knows it, he knows the concept because he's been watching US Shark Tank थोड़ा बहुत. पर उनको नहीं
Hmm.
पता था कि how big it is in India. And
Hmm.
the day it aired, we had a small screening where my family was there, my wife's family was there. So yeah, he was filled with pride. Yeah, he was proud, not of the fact that we were on TV, but how the story came out, how I
Yeah.
presented, and how honest I was. And and eventually all the judges accepting the product and accepting that we have made something different and something which stands out. So that was the biggest joy, yaar. I mean, उससे बड़ी क्या बात हो सकती है? We've been doing this for a very long time, right? We've had ups and downs in the business. Everyone has their ups and downs. You never really think of these things कि यार एक दिन आप actually एक brand बन जाओगे.
बन जाओगे.
When,
Yes,
when you
yes.
when you walk in the tank, you're a product. When you walk out, you're a brand. So
Hmm.
that feeling, of acknowledgement, even though you're not looking for validation going there कि यार shit क्या मेरा प्रोडक्ट अच्छा नहीं, वो हमारे customers हमें बोलते हैं.
हाँ. True.
Amit, now getting the credibility of being on screen and the judges and the sharks, everyone being interested in investing in the was the biggest win for us, apart from obviously the investment. But that was something which was kind of the most ideal scenario which could have happened, and that happened. So that we are glad for, and so is my dad. So yeah,
And he must be so thrilled when
he
Namita
is. He
corrected
is.
herself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was a
Turning
moment, I
point.
think.
That was the
Hey,
turning point, and that was the win for
yeah,
me.
that was
And
a win.
I don't think it could have been better in any way. पैसे आ भी जाते, सब कुछ हो भी जाता, but that one statement, I think that reassured, and that just the entire 1.5 hour or 1 hour I was inside the tank, and that only one line, I think that meant the entire journey of Shark Tank
Yeah,
was
that
uh,
was the gist for your
correct, correct.
episode, basically.
That's it. That's
कि
all I wanted.
products solid है, खरीद लो जाके. That was
That's
the thing.
Yeah,
So
so I
now we
don't
are,
say it on national television that I'm
yeah,
taking my words back. So that is also a big deal, and I'm always grateful to Namita ma'am for saying that. I mean, not many people do that, right? They don't.
yeah, and she always had an option not to correct
Yeah,
herself.
yeah.
Yes,
She could have just said that, yeah, it's fine, it's good, it's not that. But she said that I take my words back. So I'm grateful for her to her for saying that. So yeah, I mean, it
yeah.
turned out my way.
And now, when we are talking about products, one thing that actually came to my mind was when I was going through your product list. I saw the products, and I'm sure that you're there also. You mentioned that you're catering to kids or adult kids, is what. But what I could see that this is a great fit for me as well. I mean,
Correct.
I could also take this kit and probably have a good time.
Correct.
So, what is your vision going ahead to catering to adults like
Hmm.
us and
Right.
all over there? Because I'm sure I also went through your Insta page and I saw that a few of the people were really interested. They also commented they were
Right.
interested to try the products, and they're all our age groups. And you're
Correct.
not even catering to those people. So,
Right.
what is your strategy? How do you plan to take this forward? Because you have an audience, and if your
Correct.
products are great, that's what people are saying so far. So,
Hmm.
how do you, capitalize on that as well? Is there something in mind? Are you
So
creating new DIY kits for us?
Okay, so it's a very good question, first of all, Nandini, right? I get this question a lot. And the most simple answer to this is whenever you're creating a product, right, you have to identify the target audience when you enter the market, right? Once you say that it's for everyone, no, the story becomes a little vague and broad. And how will you pitch a toy brand to suppose a store like Hamleys or suppose a good any recent toy store in India, and saying that it can be done by adults also, it can be done by kids also. तो वो स्टोरी अगर हम क्लियरली पुट आउट नहीं करते ना, तो फिर
Hmm.
आगे हमारे को प्रॉब्लम आती है, because we have to be in the toy space. Ultimately, a DIY
Yeah.
kit, the DIY kit is in India is not ready to go into maybe an FMCG, maybe a store like
Hmm.
Nykaa, right?
Hmm.
India
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
still adapting. So eventually, 100% it will happen that we believe that DIY is not just or art for that matter is not just for kids or
Yeah.
not specific to anyone. A mandala
Any
is
age group. Yeah.
there's a study which has been conducted on mandalas, and psychologists prescribe mandalas to their patients because ultimately it's all about getting away from all the bhasad in the life and
True.
doing something creative for maybe even half an hour.
Uh,
You're putting your mind on something and the joy you get out of it, the
it's an escape. No, it's an easy
it's an
escape.
escape. You
Yeah.
basically unwinding in the true sense. You don't unwind on Instagram. These
100%.
are the things which really help you in your subconscious mind, and that feeling of relaxation, the feeling of making something, even though it might not be the most beautiful thing you've made, right? You don't need to be an artist to practice art. So
Yeah,
that's what we
definitely.
say. And being coming to the main question that the product has to be set to the right TG first. Right now, people like you who are coming to me and saying, I'm glad that people are raising their voice and saying that we also want to do these. And we
Yeah.
are very much happy that you are saying it. So we want the story to come across from you guys. And
Hmm.
then portray it. Yes, we are a toy brand, but eventually this can be done by any one of you. So
Yeah.
that's how it should play. Because अगर मैं सब कुछ बोलूँ कि आप सब ले सकते हो, सब कुछ is for everyone, is for this, तो फिर वहां पे
So
credibility factor भी कम हो जाता है.
great.
So
Super. Good luck for that.
thank you so
And
much.
and now where you talked about the childhood thing, so one thing came to my mind while I was seeing the pitch, and also in our conversation in the last call, you said, okay, I don't want to pester kids to always being के फोन पे नहीं लगना ये नहीं
Hmm.
करना and all of that. Kids have a certain way of being themselves, and I 100% agree to that. But in the scenarios that we live in, we all live in like metro cities, you see parents being a little more active on the fact that fact कि अगर पढ़ कुछ खेल भी रहे हैं तो उसमें कुछ learn करे.
कुछ learning होना चाहिए.
Yeah, that way. So where do you stand there? Because most of your kids are just very fun, simple, calming experiences, and one or two of them are also science projects. Those are also one
Right,
students. The person has to build from scratch. So
right.
I want to know, where do you stand therein? Because I would love to know your perspective. How is
Correct.
it?
So, again, a great question, Nandini. So, our
Ah,
products are
great.
not made around the idea that we'll be educating you in terms of concept, science, STEM, anything like that. We are very much specific to art and craft and hobbies, right? Now, what does art do in a child, right? So it is not just the fact that you are giving them and they're having they're passing their time thoda sa away from the scene. That is not the whole story. Art has a very major aspect to the character building of any
Of
individual for
any
that.
person, yeah.
Right? If you say holistic development, like overall growth of a child, art has a very important factor in it. Basically, आप उनको कुछ दे रहे हो जिसके थ्रू वो अपनी imagination से कुछ execute कर रहे हैं, and you're provoking their imagination and trying make them try new things which they are not used to doing, right? तो
Yeah,
जो वो चीज होती है उसको कोई मेट्रिक नहीं है कि आप कैसे मेजर करोगे, उसके कोई मार्क्स नहीं है, right?
ah,
Entire experience is something which a child takes away, and maybe he's intrigued to do all different things, to create more stuff. So that is the biggest takeaway from it, right? Everything does not have to be about science or maths or logic or education. If you talk
yeah,
about the learning aspect of it, we do call our kids learning tools as well, because you are learning some skills which you will otherwise not even think of, and it is provoking such areas in your mind which will otherwise be stagnant in your growth. Experience जो है ना वो आपको क्या सिखाता है, मैं उसको metric में नहीं बता सकता, but overall development and growth and creativity is something which goes a long way for any personality development factor in
yeah.
any.
And also, it's, I mean, I always think it in this way कि जब हम बच्चे थे, like we were kids, we were never, you know, pestered or made to do something like this, and we kind of turned out fine. So I mean, kids' time is to have fun, to be a little creative, have fun at hand, and also do. I mean, you can allot a time for this. It's
No,
not
I
that.
will differ. I will differ with that, Nandini. When you say that when we were kids, right? Firstly, we didn't have so much digital exposure, right? We
Yes,
were
we did.
busy doing so many other things, right? TV
Hmm.
must be 1 hour or 2 hour max a day for us. Uske alawa, we had sports, we had physical activity, and we had so much stuff which we used to do, right? Our summer projects
We
also
had a
used
lot
to
of,
be.
we had a lot of physical activity for
So
sure.
somehow, some way or the other, we were doing DIY in our stages of growth.
And now that we are talking about building a habit, this is
Hmm.
like a building a habit in a kid to do something productive, to
Right.
unleash your creativity and all of that. I want to know personally from your end, what do you do? Do you do any of your DIY kits? Is there any personal of yours? What is your artsy side? Tell me that.
Okay, so I am very much into music. Yeah, I love
Okay.
uh, to explore new music, mostly Punjabi music. Looking at me, you must have judged कि भाई मैं बहुत Punjabi music के अंदर काफी involved हूँ. I love listening to music. I also used to play the guitar at one point of time, but after work and hustle, I want to get back to it. For me, that was the biggest escape and the best thing. And as per my kids are involved, yeah, I am the guinea pig when it comes to testing the products, right? So I believe that अगर मैं अपनी किट अपने इंस्ट्रक्शन मैनुअल को पढ़ के कर सकता हूँ एग्जीक्यूट, तो मतलब बच्चा भी कर लेगा क्योंकि उतना ही मेरे को आता है राइट, क्योंकि मैं
सही
भी
बात।
बिगिनर लेवल पे हूँ. तो अगर वो
हाँ।
पढ़ के मैं कर पा रहा हूँ तो बच्चा भी कर लेगा. और हम उस वे में तो मैं टेस्टिंग अपने ऊपर करता हूँ, राइट,
हम्म।
is it working or not. So I guess in that way, yes, I do. But art wise, yeah, I was very much into creativity, honestly, because because I used to go to my shop, right? बचपन में मैं सदर जाया करता था पापा की शॉप पे. एंड मेरे आसपास इतना कुछ होता था, एंड
हम्म।
मोस्ट सो मच क्रिएटिव स्टफ, राइट, and it will provoke your imagination, right? So I used to be very intrigued. I used to do a lot of things. अपने आई थिंक अपने कजन्स का हॉलीडे होमवर्क भी करने में मुझे काफी मजा आता था बचपन में. Honestly, I used to
वाह,
do it.
यू आर
मैं
द
करता था.
सेवियर देन।
I'm telling you that. I mean, it's something which I've never shared, but
हाँ।
yes, I used to love doing that. And it's
ग्रेट।
fun. I think and that entire बचपन में जो मैंने थोड़ा बहुत क्राफ्ट किया है, सीखा है, और प्लस
हम्म।
obviously my idol, my biggest inspiration, Mr. Rob, the
पता
DIY
है,
king.
I was just thinking that you should onboard him as your brand ambassador. Think of some collab.
I hope
I
he
was
watches
thinking
this
this.
podcast, and I share it with him. And then, there is a lot of his influence involved when it came to DIY per se. Because DIY, I think the first time I heard the word DIY was through him, and he used to have a
Hundred
catchphrase at
percent, 100%,
he has
and
to have a
so much fun.
catchphrase. एंड में बोलता था वो, why cry when there is DIY, something like that. There used to be,
Something. There was a
why,
slang.
why sigh when there is DIY? Something he used to say, and man, I used to look forward to that one episode every weekend used to show, and there used to be a big picture in the end. मैं अभी तक सोचता हूँ कि
Hmm.
यार उसको एक प्रोडक्ट में कैसे बना सकता हूँ किसी दिन कि कोई
You
बंदा
know,
इतना
वो
ह्यूज.
इतना क्रिएटिव था। और एक चीज याद है, जब वो ग्राउंड में जाके जो करता था वो लार्ज स्केल पे, वो याद है
That's what I'm
आपको?
saying. The big picture. You used to
द
call
बिग
it the big
पिक्चर वन,
picture.
या।
Yeah, yeah,
सो
yeah.
दैट वाज लाइक, अभी भी मैं अगर
Yeah.
कभी इफ आई सी हिज रील्स या कुछ भी,
Uh,
तो मेरे को वही याद आता है, इट टेक्स मी बैक टू दैट।
Yeah, in
एंड
an interview, he had said, people said that why aren't you doing more of art and craft shows or DIY shows
हाँ
anymore?
हाँ।
He said, I don't think you're asking because you're interested in art and craft.
हम्म।
He said that you want your childhood to come back because
यस।
it's nostalgia more than the
या,
whole concept for you.
इट्स
And he said
नॉस्टैल्जिया,
that
या।
he's so active on you. He used to be really active on YouTube. अभी थोड़ा सा कम है, but Instagram पे he's really active. He does a lot of creative stuff over there. And people जिनको करना है वो they can follow him there, right? He is
या
doing those kind of things, but people want him to see like in the mad avatar with
या
cap
ऑब्वियसली।
and everything. So yeah, man, he is the ideal ambassador for Kalakaram eventually.
एंड
Hope
ठीक है,
so.
सो आई हैव एक्चुअली टू मोर क्वेश्चंस टू आस्क,
Yeah, sure.
but we'll keep it very quick.
Yeah.
So one is कि you also said therein when Piyush asked you कि आप exit कैसे देंगे, तो आपने
हाँ.
बोला कि मुझे नहीं पता मैं कैसे दूंगा। ठीक
Hmm.
है, वो ठीक है, you were very honest and everything. How are you that honest? Want to know क्या था वो पूरा scene?
यार, I think during the entire shoot of Shark Tank, if I would have put that pressure on myself कि ये national
हाँ
television है और मेरे रीलें बनने वाली हैं और
हाँ
मेरी एक एक लाइन को पता नहीं कितनी बार रिप्ले कर सकते हैं लोग, तो मैं शायद
हाँ
पता नहीं, मैं नहीं कर पाता शायद. I would have frozen. Of course, that's naturally right. I'm on the in front of so many cameras for the first time, but I had put only one thing in my mind कि it's my business, right? Kalakaram is my brand. Kalakaram, even if we don't get a deal, uh, we have our plan, we have our focus. Nothing's going to change, even if I walk out without a deal. My whole takeaway from the tank should be that I present my product honestly, and the message, the questions which have been asked to me from day one, from everyone, like distributors, retailers, वही
Hmm.
similar questions मेरे सामने आए हैं, right? तो I have been used to answering them so many times कि मेरे लिए natural था. और exit वाली बात तो यार मेरे
But exit wala, हाँ.
नहीं पता यार. I
हाँ.
honestly, it could have been totally reverse for me. मेरे को बिल्कुल उल्टा हो सकता था कि you should
हाँ.
have said what is this? This is reckless behavior.
और
अब मैं,
उन्होंने किया है ऐसा, like with
yeah,
other
हो
people,
सकता
like
है,
for
हाँ, मतलब,
for a
बट
normal term, they have said to other people, but with you, you were like the favorite or what?
पता नहीं यार. किसी ने कमेंट किया था मेरे रील के नीचे ही कि ये तो प्रोड्यूसर का भांजा लगता है. तो उसके लिए मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ कि मैं किसी का
Nepotism
भांजा
Pro
नहीं.
Max.
It's just that I did not fear what will happen if this does not go through. मेरे में I
Nothing to
had
lose
zero fear,
attitude. Yeah.
nothing to lose. Plus, I wasn't trying to manipulate my answers कि भाई what do they want to listen to. और प्लस
हाँ.
ऑनेस्टली मुझे नहीं पता, मैं अगर कुछ भी बोल दूंगा वो गलत ज्यादा हो जाता, you know.
हाँ.
So I think that saved me and went my way eventually, and I'm glad for that.
And you are that way in like everyday life as well. I mean,
Yes,
I have communicated with you twice, and
100%.
that's that comes across well.
यार अगर
So
इतने सारे फियर ऑफ फेलियर्स और फियर्स ऑफ इफ आई डोंट गेट इन्वेस्टमेंट, इफ आई डिड, तो क्या होगा, तो क्या, अगर वही सोचते रहोगे, देन हाउ विल यू फोकस ऑन योर बिजनेस. एंड प्लस
yeah,
बिजनेस इज अबाउट टेकिंग इट स्लो, टेकिंग इट इजी, टेकिंग इट वन स्टेप एट a time, and being trying to being profitable at where you are right now, rather than thinking that one day when you'll have this much money and you will grow this much or scale this X amount, then probably you'll be profitable. I
क्या
don't
करोगे?
think,
हाँ.
I don't personally like that thought process. So that's how I've always been. I want to be like that. So yes, I hope I am like that forever.
Great. मैं सही हूँ. That attitude. But ठीक है ना, it works for us. I mean, it
Yeah, yeah.
works for you building your brand. It works for the way you lead your life. And everybody has their own virtues and values to live by. All right. So now we are coming to the last question. The most
Last.
important question of the entire conversation is, okay, if given a chance
Uh,
to showcase or present your product,
uh,
your brand to any public figure, who would that be and why?
I think I've already answered it, yeah, Nandini.
Okay, उसके अलावा.
Apart from Rob, to a public figure, why? Honestly, I haven't thought about it, but I think it should be some of the good mom influencers, because ultimately it'll be good for we can get some good content and good
Good.
for ads. I won't name anyone now that I've
I
specified
got
my
it.
motive. So it should be a good mom influencer. There are so many mom influencers who are making really great
Works.
content. So whoever wants to do a barter collaboration, I'm always up for it.
Spoken like a true businessman there.
Yeah,
But
nothing
yes, and
specific.
also I think the best would be Rob. That's what
The
we
best, yeah.
discussed
He's
earlier.
the
Yeah, yeah.
ideal brand ambassador. I will never change that position in my life until I make him or collaborative with him in some way. Meet him.
Yeah, yeah. And that day is not very
I
far,
hope so. I
is what
hope
I
so.
can say.
Yeah,
All right. This was such fun conversation, Chaitanya. I hope you had a good time. I
I
hope
had a great time.
there are a few takeaways from our conversation for people who would be seeing this. So thank you for your time. And I look forward to doing this again with you, probably when you onboard Rob, or even before that, when you have something great to celebrate. Find
Let's
me here.
let's
And
manifest
yeah,
that. Yes.
thank you so much. See you.
Thank you so much, Nandini. It was great. Thank you for having me, and looking forward, and all the best to you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.